Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about the Mafex Mando. Is it Mando? Is it the Mandalorian? I just call it Mando. Mando 2.0. So, this is crazy because there's so many Mandos out now that I'm fatigued on Mando. And I do love the Mando, but I'm truly fatigued because, you know, there's all this reviewing and stuff like that. And this is just my personal opinion, but it's hard to, at least photograph-wise, to get a lot of fun out of it when you have to do like back to back. So I still haven't gotten the new Black Series one that everyone is raving about, so that will not be in comparison to this. I haven't even gotten a chance to really like play with it. So my homie KJ let me, when we were down at Medicom, I played with it ever so briefly, so I don't count that. But I don't have that to compare to. So it's crazy because I genuinely like really love this figure. And I know people are gonna ask me, hey man, I didn't get a chance to review it. But what's crazy about this is mine has a small helmet defect, paint-wise, in two spots, right here and right there. I only just noticed it right before I started to do this video. But yeah, otherwise, the look on this is fantastic. Like, functionality-wise and look-wise, this is great. I have minor gripes, and that is being that the upper torso really doesn't do anything. It looks fantastic, but no real function, and the single-jointed knees. I'm really not happy about those two things. But otherwise, if we're going for looks, I feel like this is an excellent looking Mando. It really, really is. So let's get to it. As you can see, we have new, our Mudhorn symbol. We didn't have that on the 1.0. I'm gonna get into a comparison later. As you can see here, if the cape is not in the way, like you can lift your shoulder pad up and you should be able to technically get close to a T-pose. You still can't put it all the way up. A little bit of a bummer, but because of the way the torso is done, you still have a beautiful double joint, and you have a bicep swivel at the sleeve, and you still have a bicep swivel kind of here to help you rotate. And this part came off in case you're wondering, and that's for our part swapping later in accessories. Which, oh, there's a gauntlet swivel as well. So look, I didn't even notice that before. So we have a gauntlet swivel as well. And what I was mentioning before about that torso is it's really no movement without it cracking, because see what I did? I cracked it there. So you don't want to move that too much without cracking it, but you can move the torso left and right, but you run the risk of breaking your figure, which pretty much bums me out because I've run the risk several times of doing that. We have our drop down legs. We have a thigh swivel that goes not really anywhere. And we can lift up to 90 degrees on the left leg, but a little bit less on the right leg. That's because even with the drop down, the armor's going to get in the way and face scraping. As you can see here, our knees, they just don't do much. We do have a generous ankle pivot to help you kind of get that out of the way, but it's just not enough in my opinion, as well as a toe hinge. But yeah, otherwise, I feel like torso-wise, this really bums me out because that's twice now I've done that, and I think I've permanently cracked it by trying to move that. So that one's on me. We do have a beautiful wired cape though, and our head finally has real neck movement. So we have a way more expressive head sculpt for our Mando. Even though he's a guy in a helmet, it's one of those things that kind of help you express a character via movement, and I love that. So as you can see here, if I was doing a precarious walking pose with him, we have our nice and beautifully wired cape. Let's get that flowing to make it look a little bit more dynamic. But if Mando is coming over from you from across somewhere and giving you that Mando look, as you can see here, this really does look fantastic. Like, again, I don't have the Black Series, but this really does look good. And I'm holding them up because I uneven table and I'm tired of stuff falling. I want it to look good. But yeah, look-wise, I really like it. I really, really do. Functionality-wise, I'm also really enjoying it. I just think my biggest gripe is going to be those single-jointed knees, which look really like he can't move too well. But for some reason, it just really works for me. I want to say it doesn't, but it still does work for me. I would have loved for them to go further, but I guess they just felt they wasn't needed. But as you can see here, see, uneven table. Oh, actually, no, this one is because my toe hinge came up. But yeah, as you can see here, I can square them up just fine. Looks really good. So there's no real arguments in that case, but I am nitpicking about that because that's something I expected them to do better, especially with all the time they had with waiting. And I think that's one of the biggest, I think that's Mafex's biggest strength, but also their biggest weakness. They take a long time to produce stuff. And it's one of those things where changes, I'm assuming, can't be made. And this is from learning stuff. I'm assuming they either can't be made or is so long in production via license or approval, it just can't happen. So it's one of those things where I'm hoping it was just something that they couldn't change, but it still made it the best function that they could possibly make it. And with that being said, though, let's talk about our accessories. Let's get to it. All right. As we jump into accessories, I'm going to be very transparent and say I am not putting on that rifle. I'm just not. It is way more simpler this time than on the 1.0, but I've constantly said it before, I am terrible with tabbing. I'm going to show you it, but I'm not going to plug it in or attempt to do anything because either I'll break something or just whatever. But my bad luck has been bad lately, and I just don't want to test it. So first thing is our pistol here. So I actually left this in by accident, but what's crazy is this pistol is the proper color this time and not the Mafex pink from the 1.0. I feel like we have a much better coloring now for it. I feel like this is way better than what happened the first time. I'm not sure if it was a process issue or whatever, but down to the gold here and the trimming of the rifle, I mean, not rifle, but the pistol, or blaster, I should say, we're all right, right? Next up, let's try to go over the easy stuff. We have our knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife, right? So we have our small knife here, a vibro knife, I believe. We have the dark saber in storage mode. I'm going to call it storage mode for obvious reasons. So it's stored quietly. And then we have the active dark saber, which I feel like this is really dope. Probably one of the best ones. I feel like it really highlights the outer white trimming with the crackles within the blade. We have the Beskar spear. This man was decked out with stuff, dog. He had a weapon for every occasion, right? Here we are with the Beskar spear. We have our grappling hook. It is a straight long wire, cannot be bent. I would have loved the bendy wire version of this. That would have been dope. We have the replacement part. We have the replacement option part for the micro missiles in our left arm. We have the flamethrower for the right arm. We have, let's see, this is the rifle in our normal usage mode, right? And then we have it for the storage mode, which goes over the shoulder. Here we are with our tab piece here that tabs into the chest. There's also a small piece that's gonna go behind Mando that plugs in to hold it in the back. Great example of this is right here, because I left them up nice and cool. My man was out here looking cool as hell. Like, let's say I tab it in here, which I hope to God nothing breaks, right? And it's supposed to link up over the shoulder. And there's supposed to be a slit in the cape, which you'll see here. And that is for replacing this part right here. So actually, I'm going to take this tab out because, again, I'm scared of breakage. I've had terrible luck lately in life. I just don't want to play that game. So actually, we're going to replace this right here by untabbing this. You'll see that opening here. There will be a replacement part to store your rifle through it. And there you have it. I didn't plug it in properly, but you get the gist of it, right? Then we have our jetpack. And that's the reason why I kept Mando on my hands, because to place on our jetpack here, I'm gonna slide this over. You can pull out this tab here. And then we're gonna replace this with the backpack tab. Backpack tab. Slides right in. And then we have our jetpack. What's cool about the jetpack is when the jetpack is in, you actually get a tab for storing the Beskar spear. Please don't break, please don't break. And look at that. Just my luck, it's not tapping in. So let's see. Nope, not gonna test it. Just my luck lately. So, right here, we're gonna plug in. Personally, I leave the cape over to the side and it looks really good. That way, when you're in any sort of walking stance, it'll look good over the shoulder, right? And then we will also get two effect parts here for the jetpack, which you can just plug in. You'll get two of those in case you didn't see it. Then we also get an effect part for our rifle. razzmatazz, right? Let's actually get everything all neat, get you squared up as we cover up more stuff, because we actually have a lot of stuff to cover. Like I said, he comes with a lot. We will get a... I tried to pick up our bag for Grogu as we have a wired soft good top, but then this is plastic here for carrying the baby. Then we have the baby outside of the bag. He has movable arms, and you can lift the head on a small ball joint. And last but not least, we have a ton of hands. So much so that I left it in the tray. So we have some open action hands. We have some open relax hands. Relax. We have some trigger hands. We have rifle trigger hands. We have item holding hands for the Beskar sword, right? And the spear hands will actually be a set of smaller hands here. Then we have another set of small spear hands, pointing hands, and more relaxed hands. So yes, we actually get a slew of stuff. And the reason why I kept it in, because I didn't want to lose track, because I normally would. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of our accessories here for my main man, Mando. And with all of that being said, I think it's time to jump to the size comparison, which it may be a lot, it may be a little. I don't know where to go and what direction to go into. But hopefully I'll cover just about everything that you want dream-wise for your Mando. So I'll see you guys in a sec. I was wrong, y'all. I was wrong. Because I forgot two things in my accessories. We have Pedro Pascal head. So there we are. We actually get a neck for that as well, too. So you pop that out by lifting off. Lift off. And then, cool enough, you actually get another Beskar helmet. This one has the flashlight from when we go on, I believe, the Snow World. Or when you're deep underground. Whatever it is you need it for. We actually get another sculpt here. So it's pretty cool because you actually get 2 extra sculpts. So that's pretty dope. Now we jump into the size comparison. All right, now we jump into the size comparison. So unfortunately, there's a few figures I can't find, so I'm not sure if stuff is in storage or I'm just tripping. I don't know yet, but I've been moving around some stuff and trying to shrink the collection, so maybe it's on me. But first up, here is the Black Series Mando that I do have, which I believe is a far, far older one. And it's not a representation of what the new one can be, but here we are with our Black Series one, right? Gave it a custom cape, right? But here we are. I think these are 2 of the most important ones that people want to see. Here we are with the 1.0 Mafex Mando, right? Which I think this one actually has a slighter, it's shorter. It has a brighter metallic. As you can see, this is different as well. But more importantly, like, even though these look similar and the same, they're technically not. There is a lot of differences in the body that make a big difference. Also, the weight of this guy is so much, like, this one feels hollow, very much so in comparison to this one, which is crazy. Then we have our SHF one, which came out recently. Been meaning to get around to doing this one as well, but it's one of those things where things just keep falling through the cracks, man. It's a lot. And I like this one, but I feel like the armor is too dark. And there's a lot of stuff to him, like functionality-wise, I really, really like. But I feel like the armor is too dark, and I don't really like the cape system. I'm not a fan of it, but it's still a great figure as well. Also, it has a nice coloring to him, really, really nice. But he's also on the shorter side, so I know some people are not happy with that as well. But here we are with a bunch of Mandos that you can compare to, and get your comparison on. Then we're gonna complain some Black Series, which I feel like really, really works well with Mafex and SHF, right? Here we are with Black Chrysanthemum, or Chrysanthemum. I always say that wrong, but Bo-Katan Kryze from Black Series. I'm really excited for the Mafex one of her, really, really, right? And I feel like this is a proper size comparison for these guys. Much bigger than the Mafex, right? Towers him in height and looks really good. Next up, we have a Black Series Stormtrooper, which I feel like all of the Stormtroopers, I feel like everybody gets it right in terms of height. So here we are with a General Stormtrooper from Black Series. And here is a Dark Trooper from Black Series as well. And I feel like these all really work in comparison with Mando. Let's take these guys away. Then if you want to compare them to stuff like Marvel Legends, here is a Marvel Legends Black Panther. All right. Here is Mezco Ichigo on a Gomez styled body. Next up, we have a Mythic Legion. And I feel like Mythic Legion and Cosmic Legion are really going to be where it's at with Mando in the universe, because a bunch of that stuff works out really, really well. So here's a Mythic Legion 1.0 style body. If you want a 2.0 style body, here's Samir, Scroll Warder. Mando's not a terribly big guy, so it works out. Here we are with an SHF Camerata Geats laser boost form. And he's upscaled, so I feel like SHF is really getting up there with the scale to be a lot better with other stuff. So this works out fantastically. So yeah. Overall, I really like this Mando. I like the way it feels. There are some hiccups for me personally, but not enough that I won't be having fun like playing with this figure. Like, that's one of those things, like, I now aim for a fun factor. Like, nothing else really matters to me except for fun factor. If I am not enjoying a figure, nothing else really matters. And a figure shouldn't be frustrating. So for the most part, I feel like they got rid of a lot of the frustration, which is good. So here we are. So with that being said, it's up to you to buy and get what you want. I'm just here to give you the information, and I hope you enjoyed that, because information is powerful. So as always, please to everyone, be good, do good. Drink your water, guys. Later.